Hey, everybody, and welcome to Wind Against Tide on your Wednesday evening. So glad to have you all joining us, especially those of you who are live in YouTube chatting away to us as the evening goes on, and anyone listening on the audio platforms in the future. We look forward to hearing your feedback and hope you enjoy the show. Some massive stuff going on at the moment for us, Joey. We had a week off last week. It was all a bit much. Just too busy we were, weren't we, mate?
Davey, I am excited. We are on the cusp of a long weekend here in Melbourne, which means there is plenty of opportunity to go fishing. We are going to dive into a little rundown of the weather this weekend. And by the way, if you're joining us live in the chat room, we'd love to know your fishing plans for this weekend. Drop them in the chat box if you're listening on YouTube. We'd love to hear what you're planning to catch this weekend.
Yes, another long weekend, Joey. It's no longer Queen's birthday weekend. It is now the King's birthday. Has that been officially actually changed or not?
I think it is for this year. Absolutely. He's
King-
coronated, so it is his holiday.
Right. Okay. He's just booted old Lizzie off the throne and
Don't know if it's his birthday, though, but we won't let that get in the way.
no, I don't think that was ever accurate, was it? Anyway, we're going to. We don't give a shit about him, to be honest with you. We're going to use his public holiday, though, to go fishing. So we're going to sort of have a little bit of a chat about that and work out what we're doing there. But first and foremost, Joey, we've got some very exciting news. We are in the midst of planning a really awesome night where we're going to do some live podcasting to a live audience, and we're joining up with our sister podcast, the boys from the Deep Drop. So we've got Luke McCredden and Adam Ring, you and myself. We're going to be at a venue called Poker Face in Berwick, and we'll be basically just doing what we normally do with a few twists, Joey, live podcasting.
Yep, it's going to be a completely live podcast on stage. There's a beautiful bar there with cocktails and whiskeys and beers and all sorts of great stuff. We've got the local pizzeria is putting on a spread of every different pizza under the sun. We're going to be on stage and it's going to be completely live and it's going to be a first off. We're also in the midst of potentially organising some live entertainment as well. So, yeah, we're building a community of legends here. We really appreciate you guys joining in online and listening to us every week. We see it as a beautiful opportunity to all get together and, present to you.
That's it, Joey. Now, pretty sure we've locked in a bit of live music. As you said, there will be food. Now, this is going to be on the 6th of July and it's going to kick off at 7 p.m. So details are on our socials, the Deep Drop socials. There's links to purchase tickets there. They're $30 a ticket. I mean, you can barely buy a pizza for $30, can you, Joey, in this day and age?
I'm going to go out and say it's all you can eat pizza for $30 and your ticket entry. So, yeah, pizza and door entry included. And we'd love to see you. It's on a Thursday night from 7 p.m. and it shouldn't go much later than 10 o'clock. So that's what it is, July the 6th.
And a little birdie's told me we're going to have some merch there available for everyone. And speaking of merch, Joey, last week we had a bit of an impromptu giveaway.
We had a bit of a bust up.
We did have a bit of a bust up. Peter Ferguson came on from Fishing with Fergie. He had some hoodies to give away. We chose some lucky winners. One of those winners, who's a bloody stalwart of the show, Joe, he decided he wanted to pass his hoodie on in good faith and he wants it put back up for grabs this week. So Wild Chicken has donated one of his Fishing with Fergie hoodie that he won.
And how are we going to decide that, Davey, about who gets Wild Chicken's hoodie that he's taken off his own back and thrown back into the ring to be rehomed?
So best comment on the live feed tonight. We're going to choose whoever comes up with the best comment and we're giving away an XL hoodie to you. So, make us laugh, send us a good question, send us some money. You don't have to send the money.
Super chat. We love a good super chat.
Yeah, jump on there and you can get yourself that fishing with Fergie hoodie, Joey, which is pretty exciting.
We're in June now, Davey. We're officially into winter. You need a big smumpy hoodie to stay warm, especially for this King's birthday long weekend.
That's right, Joe. Hey, just quickly backtracking, by the way, you may be wondering, a few people might be thinking, oh, I'm not going to the live show at Berwick on the 6th of July because I'll just sit at home and watch the live feed like I always do. Well, no, it's not going to be a live feed for that night. You got to come down in person, have a drink and a pizza, and have a laugh with us in person.
That's it. And there's gonna be more to be announced closer to. But we were limited on organizing and planning and all that sort of stuff. We thought it was really important to put it out there to the universe and actually get it on sale for you all to know about and attend. But we're gonna jam pack this with not just podcasting. So as Dave mentioned, we are organizing some live entertainment while the pizzas are coming out. But it'll just be a great opportunity to catch up and meet some of you guys.
All right. Well, we will continue to spread the good word about that. Like we said, details in the socials, but we need to get on to sorting out what we're doing for the weekend, Joe, because legitimately, you and I don't actually know yet. We are watching weather, deciding what we're going to do. What options do we have, Joe? Tell me.
We've been in close quarters all week deciding for a plan for fishing. We're hot blooded blue water fishermen. So, well, we are, let's be honest. We are looking at the East Coast and the West Coast. And the plans that have been hatched are barrels down the West Coast with a couple of different venues in mind and swords on the East Coast. That swordfish window is potentially narrowing. We might only get, we haven't been out on the swordfish this season, so
No.
that window is just about to close. It's about to get the wind's about to change direction, and it's about to become very, very difficult to get 80 to 100 k's offshore. So it may be the last window closing for the swordfish, but
What do you mean about to? It's been freaking terrible wind this whole year. Bloody grinds my gears, Joey.
It's a real shitman's wind.
Anyway, it's going to get worse. We're going to have a look at that in 1 second. The return of Joe Bunn's forecasting. But yeah, options are swordfish, as Joey said, big tuna, as always. So
We love big tuna though. Like we've got a soft spot for this particular weekend. Back in 2020, we actually headed down to Apollo Bay and we actually had 4 full days on the deep blue, which was actually fishable. How often can you blue water fishermen say out there that you had 4 full days trolling from morning till sunset without?
Sorry, Joe. Not to mention that we had a secret big tuna bite that not even we knew about. We just randomly decided to go there, and we had it to ourselves while there was a million boats at Portland. So yes, fond memories. And you're right, you don't get 3 to 4 days in a row of good weather very often
Absolutely unheard of.
at all. So yeah, Joey's. I feel he's leaning that way at the moment, but there is inshore options, Joe. We can drag ourselves away from the blue water. There's a lot happening inland, and one of the things that I sort of threw up there was the potential for a return to Glenelg River, Nelson.
Well, it's so close to Port Mac.
I know we've Shane, who's probably on the live feed now, and this is probably the first he's heard of it. We had considered gracing you with our presence and chasing
I
the
want to
Mulloway on the Glenelg again.
I want to go get another pie at Nelson at that beautiful little kiosk. Oh, it was the most delicious pepper steak. Oh, we had pepper steak tonight, by the way, before we came on. But yeah, I love that pie.
Yeah, it was damn good pie. We've got more pie chat to come in this podcast, actually,
Yes.
strangely enough. But yeah, we had that as an option. And look, we still haven't actually decided. So we can do that. We can go inland and chase Murray cod, Joey. I'm detecting you're not very into that either. You want to go to Apollo Bay, don't you?
I love Apollo Bay. I've got fond memories of Apollo Bay. I really caught my first barrel at Apollo Bay in 2020. I started fishing for Apollo Bay barrel tuna in 2010 when there was an epic bite for almost 2.5 months at that particular venue at Big Reef. That's where I started my barrel career. And it wasn't until actually 10 years later that we graced back to Apollo Bay, and we had 4 full days out on the deep blue, and we actually had lost 3 fish on that particular weekend. We hooked a fish every day on Saturday, on Sunday. We lost both of those fish, and then on the Monday of that Queen's birthday long weekend, we actually had a double on barrel tuna. I'd hooked up on the wedgie, and the second lure was just actually sitting in the holder, just ever so floating there. And we're on board with Brendan and Pawsey, and all of a sudden the lure that was just floating in the current, that went tight as well. So we had a double on barrels. Unfortunately, Pawsey's won its freedom, but managed to catch my first barrel in 2020.
Fond memories, Joey. Now we've got some awesome people on the feed tonight. Wild Chicken has just thrown some money our way as he always does. We love you, buddy.
We love Wild Chicken. We wanted to know if he was a free range chicken or if he was a caged chicken.
We'll let him answer that one. We've got Shane, Rob, Fergie, Leroy, Daniel Hall, Dave, Snoop, Stephen, Kulsa, Tony. Is that your Tony, Joey? Different Tony.
No, different Tony.
Colin and Mason and Webby. They're all in there.
We've got some real dominating fishermen there. I'd love to know what you guys are planning to chase this weekend. We've been waiting for your responses.
Well, Joey, in helping us decide on what we're doing, I'm gonna need you to run us through the weather, my mate.
Yeah, let's zoom up on. We've got Met Eye. We've given Seabreeze the flick, so Dave's going to bring up Met Eye. So why don't we zoom in on that western coast to begin with?
It's the return of Joe Bunn, and we're zooming in and we're heading west, are we, Joey?
No, this is going to be a collective. Let's head west.
We're heading west.
Yep. So what do we got there?
We're on Saturday here, old boy.
We're on Saturday. Fantastic. Davey, I'm going to get you to help me out. How are we looking from, say, about 7 a.m. on Saturday morning, offshore wind?
We've got what I'd commonly refer to, Joey, as death wind.
Oh, pus wind.
Wind of pus. Green on Met Eye equals pus. But you know what, Joey? Sometimes you got to go fishing in that pus to catch tuna, and it actually makes them bite pretty good.
Looks like the wind's blowing from the northwest.
Joey, you're correct. Which would mean this still makes a lot of the big tuna areas quite fishable. Places like Cape Bridgewater, Cape Nelson at Portland, Port Fairy, and also Cape Otway. East of Cape Otway there, where there's been quite a good bite. Very fishable.
Look, when it's blowing northwest, so the wind direction is actually blowing from the land, which would mean it doesn't really get as much time to develop as if it was coming from the south, where it gets kilometers and kilometers to build. So
correct.
How many Ks usually offshore? Is it, as a guide of thumb, would it be good to go offshore when there's northwesterly blowing? You reckon you're good for about 20 Ks before it starts getting crap?
Probably not 20.
I don't know. You're the captain. No, but like
just go. You'd be surprised how if it's an offshore wind, that the wind that you can fish in, especially when you got those big cliffs and stuff protecting you. So you can just sort of go out until it gets too rough and you die, basically.
No, we don't want to die.
Oh no, we don't want to die. We don't want to die.
But they could be in close. Them those big
Joey. More often than not, they are in close. So stress less if you are planning on going to the shelf. Stick in close, and that's where the big fish will be. So yeah, Saturday's quite pussy.
All right, let's look at Port Phillip and Western Port for the wind.
Well, we haven't even cycled through the whole weekend.
Oh, of course, we've still got a Sunday and a Monday, which
Sunday's pretty crappy too. It's a baiting in the afternoon, I would say. Still from the north.
Yep.
Monday, still from the north, and quite pussy again, but very fishable, I would say. So don't let that deter you all from getting out there and getting amongst them.
So if you had to summarize Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, we're looking at a northerly wind system. Would you say sort of 10 to 15 knots?
I would say 15 to 20, actually, Joe.
Yep.
Which I wouldn't advise going out there in a small boat, but if you're clever and you know your limits, fishable, and a bit of wind will probably get the fish on the chew. So I think that's the southwestern region covered, Joey. moving on.
Let's go to our central district.
We're traveling east here, old boy. So we're going back to Saturday. We might zoom out a little bit, cover central and out to the east there. Is that too much? I've got Tassie in there. I might come back in again. I can't get it all in one. We're going central, just quickly. So Western Port and Port Phillip.
Western Port and Port Phillip.
We're going Saturday, quite pustulous, but you're fishing inshore in the bays. It's always somewhere out of the wind there, so I wouldn't let that deter you too much.
Well, look, if you're on a northwesterly there, strong northwesterly in Western Port and Port Phillip, where would you seek some shelter from a 15 to 20 knot wind?
Well, northwesterly, you've got the whole of most of French Island protecting you in Western Port, and same if you're fishing offshore out of those areas, then you've got the landmass protecting you as well, Joey. So
And
obviously the north of the bay in Port Phillip and is going to be reasonably fishable. Once you get down south there a little bit on the peninsula, probably not so good.
And we don't do a tremendous amount of fishing down there, if any at all. But look, the west, if you were sort of from Geelong way, that would be completely offshore. So technically it would be pretty calm in close for you there.
That's right. So not really ideal, but not bad. Now, this is where it gets interesting, Joey. We're swinging out east onto the swordfish grounds here.
Oh, yes.
So we got
we just moved Mad-Eye there to the
Saturday is
east.
is yellow, indicating stomach bile as you vomit out on into the rough seas. So Saturday probably
25 to 30 knots.
Big old no-go. That's 25, 30 knots.
Okay.
Sunday abating, probably a bit on it still in the morning.
Oh yeah,
abating.
Blue like my seasickness pill.
Probably really borderline not doable Sunday unless that improves. Unless you want to do a late one after lunch, but you'll still have a little bit of residual slop left over from the day before. Monday. I think Monday's the go, Joey.
Oh, Monday is a chef's kiss. It is light blue. Kind of like a Viagra tablet, not so much a seasick tablet.
And you can see the wind there is confused about which way it's going to go. It's so light. So, yeah, if you want one last shot at these swordfish, Monday's looking good. As of now, that could change though. So, geez, that's comprehensive, Joe. And I think also up the East Coast, Bermuda and all that, where there's some yellowfin looking pretty good as well. So,
oh yeah, Bateman's Bay as well. Whew. Yellowfin.
All the way up that coast. So, yep, very comprehensive weather report. We haven't done one of them in a little while.
No, I like that. I hope the wind against tide has got a fair bit out of that. That was good, Davey.
Hopefully that didn't drag on too long, Joey. So, yeah, me and you actually did go fishing last weekend, believe it or not.
We did. We got actually bombarded with fan mail about...
I don't know about fan mail. I feel uncomfortable with that terminology.
Fishing friends. Fishing friends. We got our Instagram inbox got hammered. We headed out onto the local barrels.
We did. Probably not a lot to report there other than a reality check, Joe. We had already identified that would be a good weekend of fishing with the moon phase. There'd been reports of whales in the region, which we know love to swim with the big tuna. And there'd been wind previously, which usually likes to stir things up. So we weren't the only ones with the idea to rush out there and get amongst them out of our local ports. There was boats spread from far east to far west, and everyone basically reported nothing bupkis.
Look, one of the things that my takeaways from barrel fishing on Friday, we headed out of the western entrance and we shared on our socials that we did about 120 kilometre round trip. But what was fantastic to hear was we had friends also behind Phillip Island off the Pyramid Rocks area, and we had friends outside the eastern entrance. And as you know, with these big tuna, they can swim kilometres, in hours more or less. So it was fantastic to see on about a 250 kilometre stretch of ocean water that we were able to freely communicate with our friends out of all the entrances. So, those big tuna are going to show up at some time, and it is going to be a matter of going out of those entrances and just seeing if there's any life there. And one of the tools that we identified to check some life. I mean, there'd been some whale sightings, and good friend of the podcast, Simon Webby, he directed us to there is a whale watching website, as you can see up here on your screen right now, Dave.
Yes, there is. So you can basically subscribe to this website and get alerts on your phones. It may as well be tuna alerts, Joe, because it's telling you exactly where the whales have been sighted at a particular time, and
Yeah.
you can.
Read us out some of those whale reports from the other day.
Well, common areas seem to be Pyramid Rock, Cape Shank. There was some in Western Port just the other day. I wouldn't be too concerned about those in regards to tuna though, and basically all along Phillip Island.
Well-
So
Well, if you want to save this to your favorites in your browser, it's called wildlifewales.com.au, and it's fairly in detail. Like we could see here on the 6th of June, 10:40 a.m. 2 humpback whales 3 kilometers southeast of Pyramid Rock, heading east. They even figured out the direction that they're swimming, thanks to Captain and crew Casey Lee. So then we got an update also on the 4th of the 6th at 2:30 p.m. 2 humpback whales off Red Rocks Beach. Thanks, Captain, crew on the Brianna Lee.
do you think they'd appreciate that we're using their whale watching to fish?
No, we need all the tools that we can get.
So yeah, that is certainly another tool that you can use, Joey. So I do keep a close eye on that. But
Wildlifewales.com.au.
having said that, it provided it proved fruitless. Fruitless, is that a word? Yeah, it didn't work out for us on Friday.
Well, you believe that these whales were traveling, that they weren't actually held up on any bait at all.
Yeah, they seem to be what I'd call a travel whale, Joe. No bait and activity with them, but that can change day to day. So yeah, reality check for us last weekend. We did a lot of kilometers as we always did. We didn't even put a lure in the water, which is pretty common. We just drove around like maniacs till about lunchtime, and then we basically stopped the boat, had a team chat, and we said, look, back in the day, we would never go in at this point. We'd just keep doggedly driving around for the sake of it, even though we'd probably know in our heart of hearts nothing's going to happen. But at this stage in our lives, there's so much we could be achieving back on land. So we made the call to save our fuel for another day, Joey, and we headed back in.
We did. And mind you, fuel is horrendously expensive at the minute, but Dave's going to talk about that a bit later.
Oh, yeah, it may just be really annoying me. But anyway, that wasn't the end of my fishing adventures. Anyway, I went out the following day, Joey, and you did make a little bit of you did notice that I sent you a photo and you said, you seem to have quite a range of fishing rods on the boat for today.
Yeah. Do you have that picture?
I don't have it. No, I should have got it for us.
He did. He had barrel rods, he had gummy rods, and he had squid rods. And I'm like, that's unlike Dave to target 3 or 4 different species in one day.
Well, generally when we go out looking for the big tuna, I take only that gear so I can't get distracted. But given what had happened the previous day, I took a bit of everything, Joey. I did one token lap out off Phillip Island having a look. And then we actually went in, Joey, and you'll never guess what fish I don't know if we were targeting. I won't say we targeted them, but I was having a ball catching them. Can you guess what that may have been?
I just want to just backtrack for a second. Did you say you saw some good life on Saturday, or was it still the same as Friday?
I saw buckus. Apparently, a couple other guys saw some reasonable stuff. So, fingers crossed that.
Fish that you went to go in and catch. Have a guess.
Yeah, something unusual. I don't think you'd get it.
Leather jackets?
Random guess. Everyone knows I love whiting, Joe.
No, you did not.
It wasn't.
You did not.
It wasn't even King George's.
Oh.
It was sand whiting. Pathetic. No, we're offshore and we anchored. We were going to have a quick gummy fish. And I was just dropping a sabiki trying to get bait. And I started catching these sand whiting, Joe.
Wait, on a sabiki?
Yeah, on a sabiki.
Sand whiting?
Sand whiting.
Were you just getting ready for snapper season 2023?
Mate, I would not waste these things on snapper. Do you know how delicious they are? Little whole fried whiting. They're even sweeter than a King George, I tell you.
Do they have any bones when you fry them up?
They do have bones in their body, yes.
Yeah, but are they sorry, are they edible?
They're edible, mate.
So
You
it's
basically just fry them hot. You gut them and just fry them hot, roll them in flour and fry them whole, mate. And
so
then you just
just like a garfish, yeah?
basically, yeah, go to town on them.
Well, that's maybe they can do some like that serving suggestion like they they were put on a few weeks ago.
Oh, yeah, they don't have the you mean when they speared the garfish back into itself and made a hoop and then fried it?
Yeah.
Yeah, nah. So, yeah, caught them. Also went into
Nah,
Cleveland.
how many did you get?
Oh, mate, as many as I wanted.
Really?
Very easy, yeah. You just find apparently it turns out you just find a sandy patch offshore and they're everywhere.
Mate, I can see, you know, you had Suraj on board. I could see him making a really nice curry with some little
He w
whitings.
Yes, we were out there chewing on our goat biryani, which is Suraj's specialty, one of the best toasting meals you'll ever have, Joey.
What does he do? He brings the big pot with the biryani pre-made, and do you just warm that up on the stove, or how do you go about it?
Well, we used to do that, but we've got a bit more streamlined and we just eat it. He's just served it into the containers and we eat it straight out of that. It's cool, but it's a lot more less stuffing around on the boat. You don't need ovens and well, not ovens. You don't need a cooker or anything. So yeah, just straight into it. And it's bloody delicious. So pretty much just go on the fishing trips for that part of it anyway.
Well, just a little bit of Joe's food adventures for those listening and doesn't know what biryani is. It's like a really fragrant rice dish, and he would have had fried goat biryani. You say?
Yeah, go.
So it would have been some beautiful herbs and spices, and some cinnamon, and it would have been like pieces of fried goat meat with yeah in a rice dish. So there you go.
Sensational. Not your traditional boat fishing fare, but damn good. So anyway, once we'd had that, I'd caught a bunch of whiting. Joey had myself a ball, more than I'd like to admit. We headed into Cleveland Bight there in the eastern entrance and did a few squid drifts. It was a little bit slow, Joe, but we're getting a couple of squid adrift, medium sized ones.
Well, you would think squid would have been good on that full moon cycle, being Sunday being the full moon. I would have thought the squid would have been pretty good.
I'm not big on squid on the full moon, Joey.
Oh, you're anti it.
No, I think that they do a lot of their feeding overnight on the big full moon, and during the day they're very hard to catch, actually.
Okay.
So that would potentially be why, or it could just be because we were kind of mid tide, not ideal timing. But the water was bloody clear, I tell you that. So yeah, we ticked along on the squid. It wasn't too bad at all. We caught enough to keep us interested, Joe. There may be better squid bites further up the bay. I find this time of year is quite good up the North Arm when you can get some clean water. But I'll tell you what, there was a heap of flotsam and seaweed and stuff floating around in the bay from all the wind and waves we've had in the last few weeks. So I'm not sure I would have really liked to have been fishing in there anyway. So you fish TV, talk about the croc attack. I don't know anything about it.
Brendan Winger, he's definitely going to be fishing this weekend somewhere.
Yeah.
Whether he makes it public or not is another question.
Yes, usually after the fact. So yeah, that was it. That was our fishing for the weekend, Joey. So yeah, we are getting ready this weekend. This one's the one we've been looking forward to. So it's just a matter of selecting the right place to go and having a little bit of luck on our hands. And I'm looking forward to it. Are you looking forward to it?
Looking forward to it. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. We will update our fishing adventures. We are podcasters, but we are fishermen as well. So we like to go fishing and share it all with you, all you guys listening at home.
Bloody beauty, Joey. Now, just a quick community announcement. A great friend of the show, Rodney Gillum, his daughter, Olivia, has accepted the role of GFAA State Junior Tournament Coordinator, Joey. So she'll be working along with all the big guns, looking after the interests of young anglers throughout Victoria and indeed Australia. So congratulations to Olivia. And
congratulations, Olivia. That's huge. Is she in her high school blazer there?
I believe she is, Joe. So anyway, great to see young female advocates working for fishing in Australia. The future is bright, I think.
I'm loving it. To seeing everyone involved in fishing at the moment, because it's something that we can all enjoy and we can all communicate on the same level.
Correct. Now, actually, I should have mentioned this before, Joey. We've had a bit of a running theme of in this show about the way that for some reason in Victoria, when people catch King George whiting, they want to stack them in a pile for some reason. They want to stack them in a pile on their bait board.
You have to stack them in a pile. You're going to hold out something the size of your little pinky finger out in front of the camera and expect it to be an impressive photo.
They're just too little to get a good photo holding them up on their own, aren't they? So I think that's why people go the bulk stack on the
Yes.
King Georgies. I've never really been a big fan of it. I just think it's a bit, look at me, how you going, sort of thing.
I quite like the whiting pyramid.
You like it?
I've embraced the whiting pyramid, and I taught that to my father, who enjoys catching King George whiting. We get out in our 420 dory over the warmer months, and we like to catch King George whiting in Western Port. But we were really starting to get into the whole tri-stacking, um, you know, like Zelda, the Triforce, the pyramid stack of whiting. I was quite enjoying it, in fact. So yeah.
What about the stack of shame when you only got one layer, Joey? You can't even tessellate them up in a pile.
Yeah, we've had that before, but that's okay.
You don't take a photo of that, do you?
No. Well, yeah, we tried.
Nah, I do tease it, but whatever. Each their own. The whiting stack lives on, but these guys in Alaska have well and truly one up that, Joe. I found this photo today. And I thought this is a bloody beauty.
All right, let's have a look at it. Up on your screen right now is some halibut presentation.
Have a look at that. Some halibut and some cod type slimy deep sea things. They even flipped the old halibut on their back. They've got the mirrored people posing. It's a perfectly symmetrical photo, Joey.
It's absolutely perfect presentation of their catch. So maybe we need to start getting some fan whiting presentations where you present your whiting on the bait board like a fan, and you match up the sizes, and that's really going into some deep thought there.
I'm putting the challenge out there to all of our listeners to come up with an inventive fish displaying method other than the whiting stack. You can tessellate them. You can do anything that's respectful to the fish, by the way. But come up with something interesting, and we'll work out some sort of a prize and show it on the podcast.
Yeah.
But anyway, halibut stack. I'd love to catch one of them one day, Joey. How cool do they look?
Look cool. Halibut and sturgeon as well, another North American fish. That'd be pretty cool. The sturgeon, it kind of reminds me a bit like
A gummy.
a gummy. Yeah, it really does, doesn't it?
Yeah. Except they grow massive and they jump and they're like prehistoric looking.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good mate Jonah's caught big sturgeon, Joey.
Oh, really? Where did he catch that?
I believe he was somewhere. No, I don't know.
You idiot.
But typical tin ass Jonah. It's like the biggest sturgeon they've ever seen of all time, and he went out there and caught it. But yeah, they're pretty cool. I've watched it. And sturgeon roe, Joey. Very good
Ooh.
eating, apparently.
Ugh.
Very. Look, I thought you'd be into that.
No, why would I be into sturgeon roe?
You're a fine diner.
I'm not. I just like simple ingredients with love. I've told you. Like I don't.
It doesn't get more simple than that, old boy. It's just eggs straight out of an anus. I mean,
No, go on, say it. Eggs straight out of a what, Dave?
well, they don't come out of the anus, do they?
Well, they do, don't they?
Cloaca or whatever you want to call
They
it.
come out of the fish's anus. They get roe that's been milked out of the fish's anus, and then it just gets tossed into a deep fryer at about 190 degrees.
Yes, I don't think they deep fry. I don't think it's straight in the old gob mate.
I think you'd. Oh, yeah, okay. No,
Anyway.
not for me. Not for me. Sea urchin, abalone, fish roe. You can stick that up your ass.
Okay, you're not a fan. I saw a big call today, though, Joey. Best pie in Vic. Victorian Fisheries Authority. I mean, they are an authority, but are they an authority on pies?
I don't know. Like, mostly when you think about the best pie in Victoria, you're thinking about some kind of beautiful beef, steak, pepper, gravy flavored, fluffy pastry. You would not normally think about who won 2023 Pie of the Year, but Dave has been covering this story closely.
I'm the
this
man on the
week.
ground, Joey.
He's the man on the ground. What have you found out about this year's 2023 pie?
Well, it's Country Cob Bakery, and it's a barramundi pie.
Oh,
So it's in Baronia. Okay, they've got three spots actually, Kyneton and Springvale. Now,
Springvale. Whereabouts in Springvale? That's not too far from where we are right now.
how would I know, mate?
No, you're supposed to be the man on the ground.
I don't know exact address. You're lucky I've given you a suburb.
Barramundi's nice.
Yep. The only issues I have with this, Joe, is it's not a local species. You should be sourcing local fish, I believe, for your pie. And they're not really seaside locations. So I don't know.
Well, you know what, Dave? If they can breed salmon in these giant ocean sea pens forever and ever and ever, I'm sure they can.
And,
Barramundi's okay.
and also, I think anything curried and shoved in a pie is going to taste good, don't you? So I'm not sure if that's a true measure of the quality.
Look, I'm not much of a curry man, but I have eaten barramundi up in Darwin before, and it is absolutely beautiful fish. And I often say this about tasty fish. A fish that can have a varied diet and eat a lot of different delicious ocean animals. Probably the meat's going to taste pretty good. So
Mm.
I would definitely give this barramundi pie a crack. I wouldn't hesitate. And the other type of seafood pie that I was also very interested in was a scallop pie, the famous scallop pie from Tasmania that you used to bang on about, Dave.
Oh, yes. The Murdunner, I think that's where it was. Scallop pie we used to get on the way to Egorgneck, Joe. We'll forever remember that as being very good. Apparently, New Haven has a scallop pie to rival the one in Tasmania, though, Joe. A few people
Oh,
are saying.
shit, yeah. No, I'll give it a try.
And you know where else is a good one? And maybe we'll be down there soon. Apollo Bay.
You're kidding. Oh, at that beautiful little bakery.
Yes.
Oh, I love that little bakery.
I think every game fisherman in Victoria has been to that bakery at 5:30 a.m. and 6 a.m. in the morning, banging on the doors, waiting for them to open.
Oh, I love that place. I'd go back just for that bakery at Apollo Bay.
They do some sensational pies. The lamb and rosemary is also sensational, Joe. So
Back to that barramundi pie. If there's one in Springvale, let's do a live pie tasting on the barramundi pie next time. Where one of us is near there, we'll share our barramundi pie. We haven't eaten it. We're just covering the news here. We're news reporters.
I made pies the other day, Joe.
You sure did.
They were the smoked tuna pies.
Did we share them on the podcast?
No, they were. I was a bit ashamed of them. They didn't really work out as I'd hoped.
What?
I think by that stage I was a bit. I planned to make it in like a nice seafood white sauce, so it just didn't really.
What do you say?
work out.
So you're saying your smoked tuna pie. So Dave hot smoked some tuna belly, and he tried to make it last for as many weeks as possible. And I saw that he made some hot tuna pies.
They weren't bad, but they weren't pie of the century.
What was your tuna mince filling? How did you prepare it?
It was just the chunks of smoked tuna and some veg, and yeah, it was supposed to be a white sauce that didn't really work, and
Okay.
epic fail.
So tuna pies, no bueno.
Well, if you did them right, I think they'd be delicious. The smokiness of the tuna, but no bueno.
No bueno.
No bueno, as we say, Joey. Hey, can I just quickly, quick? I mean, this kind of interconnects with the whole tuna trolling thing, but a quick shout out to our mate Dave Jurisic. He's sent me what he has dubbed the Win Against Tide tuna pack during the week, Joe. And
Oh yeah, that's just gonna. Dave Bass Straight Lewis. He gets a clap. Yeah.
There you go. So big thanks, Dave. Really appreciate it. We are not sponsored by any lure manufacturer. Dave's a mate of ours, and he's recently, over the last year or so, started his own tuna lure or game fishing lure business called Bass Straight Lures, and he's nice enough to send us a few out to try. So he's got this one in the middle interests me actually, Joe. It's called a real fish head, which he reckons is very popular around the traps at the moment.
It seems to be a very conical head, like a cone shape.
That's right. So yeah, first impressions is unsure, but apparently works extremely well on species like tuna. So we're going to give it a go, Joey.
Dave, I don't know if you can recite for me. Do you remember when we had Peter Pakula online and he mentioned
Oh, he'd
about
hate that.
no, just about selecting different. When you go into making a lure, I'd love to ask Dave. What is his selection process in thinking of what's a good lure to make?
Yeah, that's a good question. We'll have to have a chat with him. I'm sure it's kind of what is working on the tuna fields. There's a lot of bullet shapes in there, I've noticed. So they've definitely become very popular of late.
Yeah.
But yeah, keen to give them a go. So we'll try and we will come back to you. But yeah, it's quite funny because we had Peter Cooler on a few episodes ago, which was an awesome podcast, by the way. So if people want to go back through the archives and listen to that one and any of the other 81 podcasts, feel free. There's some great stuff in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was quite the opposite. He basically thinks that the fancy fish heads and stuff was just basically to catch fishermen, and the fish are more chasing the shape and the action of the lure rather than the prettiness.
Yeah, very interesting. But yeah, can't wait to try out those Bass Strait lures. Bloody beauty, Dave.
Yeah, I just thought I'd chuck that one in and say thanks for Dave because he's not a big business either, and it's really nice of him to send that out to us. We do appreciate it. Thanks, mate.
We want to get behind any local legends. Like you say, Dave, a rising tide makes all the boats rise.
Makes all boats float.
Yeah.
You nearly got it.
Almost got it. Almost got it. And another Dave Standing ism that I really enjoy, when we didn't catch tuna the other day, Davey says to me, Joey, you know what? Some days you're the hammer, some days you're the nail.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we were the nail.
Yes.
We got hammered into a piece of timber on Friday, driving 120 kilometers in the ocean.
That's right. That's right. Now, let's move on, Joey. It's our favourite segment.
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
It's the hookup.
Hey!
Welcome to the hookup, where we go around Australia and indeed the world for the freshest fishing reports. What was going on there? You were doing some sort of psycho vision switching.
Yeah, that was just it was just the precursor to the hookup. It gave us an intro video on the fly.
I thought everything was malfunctioning.
Davey, it's a hookup. What have you got hooked up for us this week?
Ooh, I'm fired up. I've got some exciting stuff on the way here, Joey. You're hitting me. You're excited too.
I'm very excited.
Oh no, don't. You're gonna get us banned. Oh no. You can't play noises like that. I'll get copyrighted.
Give it to us, Dave.
A whiting report in from Tasmania.
No, you don't talk about whiting. What? Seriously?
Game fishing royalty Jonah has gone whiting fishing, and he, like myself, got very excited about it.
Look at Jonah. He is so pleased with himself and that giant of a King George whiting.
Now, I think he said he went out of St. Helens. That's not a very big whiting for Tasmanian standards.
Wait, St. Helens, the famous sword fishing port.
Yes.
And it's also a very famous oyster port. You can get St. Helen oysters. They're very famous as well.
Yes, that's correct. So not massive by Tassie tuna standards, Joey, but he's quite pleased with himself. You'd nearly actually have to stack that one. It's borderline taking a photo of it on its own, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. No, how many centimeters was that one?
I don't know.
Oh.
You asked me all these questions like I've actually done some research. But he said, good session on the Tassie winter whiting today. My first Tassie King George whiting. And look how pleased he is, Joe. It just goes to show that people who've caught nearly 300 kilo swords can get excited about stuff like that.
Yep.
Beautiful King Georgies.
It definitely seems like he's back in fine spirits. He seems to be very, very happy with that.
Ah, yes.
Because he hasn't been too happy, young Jonah.
No. He's had a couple of, he only got like a 60 kilo tuna the other day and it took him 3 hours to catch it. So he was pretty upset. But he's reverted to some bread and butter fishing, Joe. Anyway, 11-degree water, he said, and still managed a good feed. Squid strips and mussels were the bait of choice. Very enjoyable morning on George's Bay. King George's Bay, I'd say.
Yeah, St. Helens. That's good. Look at the water. The water looks really clean and beautiful.
That's right. Now, he's also sent through some photos.
I wonder if he was using black magic whiting snatchers.
He may well have been. He's quite the black magic man.
Yes.
He also has sent through some photos of some big tuna in a new location. There's a big fish bite going on, of which I don't have any photos up. That's right. Big fish bite going on down there, and it's in a new location just to the northeast of Hobart, and they're catching them, Joey. Interestingly, over about 20 to 30 meters, just sandy bottom. So they're kind of nearly in a bay, from what Jonah's telling me.
Yeah,
Um,
that's really cool.
so
Whiting on sand, we usually look for broken ground
we're
with
talking about
whiting.
tuna now,
Oh, of course. Sorry. Oh,
mate.
far out. The freaking whiting train's left. Yes. Sorry. I do remember that chat. Yeah. But go on. But wasn't there reports of Victorian tuna in similar conditions?
Wow, they turn up where they turn up. But yeah, there's been a real good bite out there. So much so that Jonah actually went up there and had a fish the other day. There was about 6 or 7 hooked around him and he missed out. But he, reports it's a really good bite up there, which is basically a new area. And
Well, they must have been eating something if they're on sandy bottom. It could have been any sorts of thing. Could have been salmon, could have been squid, like
Shooten Island it is, Joe. I forgot to write that down. So I just, in my panic, found it then.
okay.
Shooten Island down there in Tassie. Good tuna bite going on.
West Coast. Sorry, East Coast.
East Coast.
East
and,
Coast of Tassie.
And north a little bit. So less seals to contend with and some very nice fish going on down there. So that's our Tasmanian reports from Jonah. So thank you very much for that. We've sort of covered a little bit with the southwest of Victoria. Now that wind has slowed down, the fishing's picked up again. I noticed there's been quite the school tuna catch-a-thon going on down there at Portland, Joe.
Oh yeah, the tuna charters down at Portland have been doing absolutely tremendously on the school tuna. I've seen some great catches on social this week from Matt Hunt at Matt Hunt Fishing Services. Got Real Time was also being stuck into that action. Lots of happy charter customers with numbers and numbers of tuna, school tuna. So that has definitely kicked over onto schedule as per the normal winter fishing calendar that we usually subscribe to.
That's it. Still some big fish there at Port McDonald, Joe, and Portland, and Apollo Bay has really come alive in the last week. In fact, we've got Brendan Wing there on the live feed reports that he was out last Saturday, sounded about 1,000,000 tuna, had fish caught around him, but they did not chew for him.
Seemed to think that they were chasing salmon. That he was seeing shimmering things in the water, and that maybe the barrels were chasing the salmon schools.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a feasible thing that could happen? You ever seen barrels chasing salmon?
I remember last year, Joey, there was a big tuna. There was a real windy day when I probably shouldn't have been out there, out of Western Port. And we were literally just out the western entrance there off Flinders. Like, there's like a little bommy right there on the entrance, and
Oh,
that's
I know the bombing.
we're just beyond that. The life was amazing, and some of the best stuff you'll see. But there was 3 or 4 of us out there, and no one was hooking up. And then a boat came out later after everyone else, and they went through the closest, work up back into the entrance and hooked up and landed a real big tuna, about 120 kilo, 130 kilo, and it had salmon in its tum tum. So they definitely ate them.
Wow, that seems to be full of nutrients. Those salmonids.
That's right. So they do eat most things, but yep, happy to eat the old Joey's favorite salmon. Not Atlantics, but
Yeah. And Davey, beaming straight across the seaboard to the eastern coast, there's been a bit of swordfish action down the lake's entranceway.
there has been, Joey. So Andrew Page of Fishing Online in Hastings got out last weekend, I believe. No, when was that? Last week. Whenever that last weather window was.
Yeah, last weekend.
Last weekend. And I think there was a few boats out, but he came in with a 86 kilo swordfish, which is good effort. He's one of the more consistent swordfishers there is, Joey.
It must have been fantastic sword fishing weather because as I was coming home from work in Narrawarren, I saw Dreamcatcher heading on the Monash Freeway, speeding towards the east. He was in full rolling mode to the east coast. So yeah, it must have been a really good weather for sorting on the weekend.
So if Richie's going, it's generally a good. It generally means it's probably pretty good.
Yeah, well, he does very good. Dreamcatcher.
But the largest swordfish that I've seen in a little while actually was caught out of Malakuta on the same day. Chloe Lawrence, her partner Tom, and friend of the show, Robbie Daniel, actually caught this 212 kilo. Oh, no, you can't hand. Oh, no, don't go yet on the catch of the week.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't at. Oh, maybe they can have it.
He's disallowed it.
They can claim part of it when we do play it.
Okay.
212 kilo swordfish, Joey, off Malakuta. So
monster swordfish.
only 45 minutes to get it in.
Oh, it was an easy one.
So beautiful fish there, and we got to catch one of them again soon, don't we, Joe?
Well, I've never been a part of a swordfish capture, so definitely something that interests me. But you're going to have to really try hard to talk me out of Apollo Bay.
That's a blue marlin. Brendan Singh is saying on the live chat.
Sure, why not? Close enough.
Definitely a blue sword. So yeah, beautiful capture there from them, and that's about it on the game fishing front. Other reports we've got to quickly run through are the cod. As winter gets colder, the top water and big cod bite gets a little bit better. So Eildon and the other impoundments, Mull Whaler.
What do you get a cod on? Bit of block of cheese there, bit of mainland extra vintage cheese, just cubed up into some nice little cubes and a hook.
Lots of hunks of cheese getting cast and retrieved in those impoundments, Joey. People are live. They're live streaming. What's it called? They're live viewing the fish up on their sounders.
Live scoping.
That's the one.
Live scoping.
And they're hucking cheese at them. So no, they're not really doing it that way. So yeah, great time of the year if it's a bit windy inshore to hit those cod, which I can't wait to actually do. I hope we actually do get off our asses and do it this year.
Look, could be nice big bonfire on the side of the river, and some campfire food and some cod fishing during the day. Could be nice. Could be nice.
Now, apparently, Rockland's cod in the west of the state, Rockland's reservoir, is absolutely chockers full of cod. They've stocked it right up to the brim, Joe. Not massive fish in there at the moment, but I'm told they're growing extremely quickly, and there's plenty of them. So even people like us could probably catch them in there. I think they're mostly around that 50, 60 centimetre mark or smaller, but that's going to be one to watch in the future as well. Eildon started off slowly, and now that's probably the premier cod fishery in Australia, and Rocklands could well go that way as well.
Nice. Very good.
Now, bread and butter species, Western Port is producing squid, as I said earlier. I've caught a few down there at the eastern entrance. I know there's been a few up the North Arm as well, so exciting times. Tricky is finding that clear water with all the dirty water runoff from the rain and wind at the moment, and quite a lot of weed floating around. I did make a stop closer to home the other day. Couldn't really fish it because of all the weed in the water.
I'm just going to throw it out there, Dave. Have you ever gone in Western Port and pumped bass yabbies for whiting?
Yes, I have back in the day. It's good fun, actually. The old one-arm bandits.
Can you get bass? Are they a seasonal thing, or can you just go and pump bass yabbies anytime for whiting? And do you reckon they're any better than pippies or squid?
It depends on the day, mate. You know how it is with fishing. One day it'll be better than the other one on a particular day, but they certainly do work very well at times. Other times they'll be outfished by the squid and the pippies. So definitely another weapon in the arsenal for keen whiting fishermen such as myself, Joe.
How do you go and pump a bass yabby?
Mate, you get those big steel bazooka pump things and you jam it in the sand on a low tide where you can see the bass yabby holes, and you pump them out and remove them from their lairs.
Yeah.
And you wham them on a hook.
I want to go pump some bass yabbies.
Yeah, it's
we'll put that on the list to do.
Yes. There's not much to it, really. But yeah, another fun activity.
Beach worming and bass yabbing, but yeah, we'll have to do some beach fishing.
Yes. So yeah, the squid and the whiting, the stalwarts of Western Port, all going very well, Joey.
Look, I've also heard some. I've heard that Purrumbete still going quite well, and Bull and Mary is going quite well. So I think there's going to be some freshwater fishermen definitely hitting those lakes over the weekend also.
That was the other option that I forgot to mention for the weekend. He could return to the beat, the Purrumbete.
Once you get into that western sector, you're just so close to all those beautiful coastal towns.
I know. I can't believe we actually did it that one day. We actually went trout fishing instead of going tuna fishing.
Yeah.
What came over us on that day?
I don't know. I must have been drunk.
But yeah. Anyway, offshore sharks, Joey. That's another thing that's very popular this time of year.
Holy crack-a-moly. What is that?
Mate, I'm giving this one catch of the week. King Kong Donkey Kong catch of the week. We got
King Kong Donkey Kong, mate. Look.
The King Suraj has claimed it.
That's right. Memphis Heren and his partner Katrina. I believe it's her first school shark. It's a big one.
Wow. Have a look at that. Look at the tag. So they've tagged that one.
So they caught it, they tagged it, and they released it offshore of Western Port.
So it's a school shark. It's got a big, long, pointy nose.
Yes, the difference between school sharks and gummies, Joe, is basically school sharks, or taupe as they're known, have teeth, and they've got the pointy nose, and they don't have the dots along the top like a gummy shark.
Man,
and they're much slower growing, I'm told, as well, by the way.
Man, they're freaking fast as well when they when they're hooked. Like, yeah, it's just like your reel just goes into a different gear. It's just like
that was Joe squeaking, everyone. That was not your volume or your listening device playing up, just Joe squeaking.
That's all right.
Yes,
no, they're very fast.
They are very fast, and very cherished in our neck of the woods. But other places, actually, just a pest.
Well, they are. I went kingfish fishing in New Zealand, and we were bouncing 200-gram jigs in 50 meters of water, and we were hooking these beautiful school sharks. Like, yeah, we were getting quite a few. So, yeah, I couldn't believe that they hit jigs.
Well, they do. Anyway, so, yeah, catch of the week to Memphis and Katrina. So, congratulations to them, and good to see them chucking a tag in that one and letting it go. Hopefully, we'll see it turn up again down the track.
Yeah, absolutely. Congratulations, Memphis. Katrina, awesome catch of the week. Love it.
That is the fishing reports segment done for the week, Joey. I hope everyone enjoyed that one. Gave them a bit more of an idea of what to do on the weekend. As you can see, Joe's basically decided he wants to go tuna fishing, so I'll have to convince him otherwise, potentially. But yeah, some great reports continuing to come in despite the fact that it's been crap weather for so long. People are still managing to get out in the brief glimpses of calmness, and they're doing very well. Winter in Victoria, it's not a time to put your boat away. There's still heaps going on.
No, it's a time to make nachos and toast marshmallows on the campfire. Yeah, don't put your boat away.
That's it. Joe, nothing really angers you more than a food-related gripe.
We're going to go straight into this.
We now go to Peter Griffin for You Know What Really Grinds My Gears.
Thanks, Tom. You know what really grinds my gears?
For those of you who might know me, I love having a couple of sweet treats on the boat. One of my most favorite in particular would have to be the humble Nestle Kit Kat. And Nestle Kit Kat, you know, it used to come in chunky or just a little 6-pack, and they were quite nice. Then the Kit Kat eventually evolved into a block of Kit Kat, and then Nestle started to get a little bit adventurous and started experimenting with flavors, and we had Gold Kit Kat, which was more or less a caramel style Kit Kat that was in a block, and it just used to be absolutely delicious. And me and my fishing friends have been enjoying this beautiful, wonderful chocolate for the last, I'm going to say it's almost the last year and a half. And little did I know this week when I went to do my local shop, we were going fishing with Dave, and I was looking for my favorite gold block of caramel Kit Kat. It was gone. Finished. No more gold Kit Kat available. It has been eliminated from the limited edition family of Kit Kat. So instead, they had this stupid chocolate instead. Have a look at that. Milky Bar Kit Kat. Absolute pus. No more gold and chocolate Kit Kat. So the milk chocolate, but no more gold Kit Kat. Finished. But then just when I was getting pissed off and trying to find gold Kit Kat, what does one naturally do to go and find some more gold Kit Kat? Well, you go online and you ask Dr. Google. I typed in gold Kit Kat buy into Google, and could you believe what came up in the search results? There actually is some gold Kit Kat for sale, and they're going to gouge us for it. Somebody is doomsday piling gold Kit Kat in an underground bunker somewhere in this country, and they want to on-sell it to us on Kogan for $16.44. If you want to buy a block of gold Kit Kat, you got to be prepared to pay $16.44. What the hell, man? Dave, I'm outraged. I'm pissed off. Pooh,
Hmm.
pooh, you bastard.
Yes. You certainly do love food. Nothing really angers you more than your food being removed. And I can see you're very passionate about that. And I'm sure a few people can appreciate your sentiment. Not me personally. I'll probably just buy a different kind of chocolate and move on with my life.
You're not that easily pleased.
No, Joe, that is your segment to get that off your chest. And I'm glad that you have. But you know what? I'm angry too. My gears are ground as well. You
Oh,
know
yeah.
what's happened in the last week, Joe?
What's that?
The freaking fuel prices have gone up again.
I told you to freaking fill the boat. No, I didn't.
Look, the thought crossed my head because we had $1.60 something the other day.
$1.67. We should have.
$1.67. It's unheard of. That's circa 2019 fuel price. Even earlier, Joe. Should have bloody refueled, but I didn't. And now I'm going to pay the price because it's back over $2. Now, I'm sure that the big fuel companies are watching the fishing reports. They know that the big tuna and the swordfish are on. And they know that we're going to be driving long distances in our boats.
I'll tell you what, Dave, I'll do you a solid, buddy. I went and did more than $30 of shopping at Coles this week. So I have got a voucher for 4 cents off a litre. So when we go fishing this weekend and we have to fuel up extreme and it's going to suck the absolute life out of us, I've got my voucher for 4 cents a litre off, but we're going to have to find a Shell petrol station that's not too far off the Western Freeway.
Yes, I can't
does
wait.
one even exist? They don't even have Shells at these far west or east coast towns.
Yes, I can't wait to pay an inflated price only to discount it slightly so it's back to the rest of the fuel prices, Joe, at a Shell.
Yeah, and why is it only 4 cents a litre off like Shell? Why can't we have like 4 cents a litre off United or Liberty, which is the more prevalent rural petrol station?
Well, yeah, just anyway, it annoys me, Joe, because we've just started doing a bit more local tuna fishing where it starts to hurt when you're driving mindlessly around the ocean.
Look, you actually said to me there's something called what's that app called? It's called Fuel Detective.
Petrol Spy.
Petrol Spy. It's like Spy versus Spy, but it's Petrol Spy. And I'm just gonna see if we can get Petrol Spy up on my screen there.
Oh no, this is a
Yeah,
live.
no, that's all right. That's that enjoying Petrol Spy. Yep. So there we're gonna go. We're gonna do some petrol spying this weekend.
Very good.
There you go. That's all to solve your problem, Dave. So you can move on quite gracefully with your life and not have to worry about petrol.
There's a lot of reports rolling in, actually. We've got petrol reports going on. There's still some cheap fuel around, apparently. So maybe it's just the one that's close to my house that's expensive.
Diesel $1.70 Bairnsdale. That's bloody cheap.
Yeah. No, diesel hasn't gone up that much yet. It's unleaded. That's the killer. Diesel I can deal with. It's the $2 whatever when I'm filling up, when I'm putting 200 litres into the boat.
Brandon saying, shh, $1.54 Apollo Bay. You don't want to tell people.
Lucky we're not going there. So
No, we're going.
yes, can't confirm or deny, Joe. Basically tonight we were supposed to sort out what we're doing for the weekend, and I feel like we really haven't.
I will fight you to the death for Apollo Bay.
Deary me.
I love that little town.
Hey, Joe, did I tell you that our latest run of King Kong Donkey Kong hoodies are ready?
Oh, yeah. So King Kong, Donkey Kong,
King Kong, Donkey Kong, mate. Look.
You can walk around with a walking Suraj on the back of your hoodie.
Man, they're bloody awesome. They're backed by popular demand. We ran a pre-order a few weeks ago. Bunch of people, they wanted in on the limited edition King Kongs. We ordered them. Now they're getting picked up tomorrow, so we'll be able to start shipping them by the end of this week, Joe. It's exciting news.
Oh, that's awesome. I can't wait to get my King Kong Donkey Kong hoodie because I definitely don't have one.
And there's a little bit of stock left over for people to buy as well. In fact,
Awesome.
we'll bring it to the live show. So, yeah.
If you want to get one in person, it'll be available at Poker Face at the live podcasting show on July the 6th.
Very good. Shall we move on to the questions, Joey?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's hit some questions to round out the show.
Oh, very, very good. Oh, we've got like 6 or 7 questions here.
Yeah, we got a few.
Team Born to Fish. When's your next Parumbeat trip? With a cheeky smile, winking emoji.
Wow. I'm actually pretty keen, Joe. I could be swayed.
Okay, well.
$6 of fuel.
Oh, yeah, that's right. When we put, I think we put like $20 of fuel in my 420 Dory, and Dave seemed to think that we were definitely converted to Chinookman.
I actually want my money back because I know we didn't use $20 or whatever we put in there that morning.
Oh, shit, I owe you $40 from last week.
I didn't want to say anything because of all the steak and stuff you bought, Joe. So I feel like it evens out.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry about it, mate.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I did know that you were a poor payer. But that's cool. Don't worry about it, mate.
All right.
But yeah, anyway. So I question that we used that amount of fuel when we did go para meeting. I reckon we used like probably literally 2 liters on that day.
Might have even got it at $1.67 back then.
It's very efficient. Another question. Oh, yeah. So we'll go back there one day for sure. Another question. Would you support stocking new marine species in Victoria? Nathan Moyle.
Well, what could you possibly stock?
Well, we've had barramundi. That went pretty well.
Oh,
At
yeah.
Hazelwood Dam.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That would be awesome. It was awesome for about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Do you remember that whole thing?
Yeah, I do. There were some massive cichlids. We've got some African cichlids in this tank here, but there was some giant South American jewel cichlids that came out of Hazelwood Pondage on our eastern sector there. It was a power plant that had a dam next to it, Hazelwood Pondage, and the runoff from the power station used to make the water warm. And there was barramundi in this pondage. And do you reckon it only lasted for 3 months, Dave?
It didn't last very long. First of all, there was like some weird ballot system where like they thought it was going to be so popular that they had to like control how many people were going. And then secondly, you couldn't get into the hot water outlet. It was banned where all the fish were congregating. So most people weren't catching them.
Oh.
And then inevitably they shut down that power plant, which I think everyone was aware was going to happen from the outset. So yeah, those fish were stocked and then allegedly they're all dead now.
So
although apparently there's some secret ones somewhere.
So the barramundi just all, cradled each other's arms and they all sat around the hot spa like big dogs. The barramundi sat around the hot spurt off water and they just treated it like a hot spa. And then when the hot spa stopped, they all died.
When the water stopped, they drained that lake. There was no water left in there.
Dave Snoop said they had barra trauma.
Barra trauma, yeah.
It's pretty funny.
I had trauma. I wanted to catch them.
I wanted to catch one too.
But any other marine stocking in Victoria? I mean, who am I to play God? I think
it's like Jurassic Park.
It's a well-balanced fishery. I did like those years when the marlin pushed right into Lake's entrance a few years ago. We had a couple of really good years of marlin fishing there, and it hasn't really been as good for the last few years. So I'd like to see that happen again.
Yep.
But in terms of completely random northern species, I think we'll leave them where they are and we'll have to do some traveling and do a bit of that, Joe.
Yeah. No, I think barramundi's a fair call. That would be nice if there was some kind of magic lake in Victoria you could catch barramundi. That'd be cool.
There you go. Joe reckons that was a real success, the barramundi thing, and he wants to do it again.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got a Grinds My Gears sent in, Joe.
Oh, I have to hit the button again.
No. Josh
Okay.
Favero just says, not a question, more of a Grinds My Gears. People don't know how to handle squid and cake their boats in ink. I totally agree.
So don't know how to what?
Handle squid and they get ink all over their boats.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
I'll
that's
tell you what it is. It's people netting them. You don't net them, mate. You show some confidence. You reach over. You grab those bastards behind the neck or behind the head.
yeah, it's it. Like, and then like face them away from your boat.
And you point them away from the boat.
It's just like a catch skill tester. The claw just comes down.
Yes, it's exactly like that. So, yeah, I firmly believe that the issue here is when people net them and they freak out and they're pointing at the boat and ink goes everywhere. So, just amateur moves, really, I'd say, Joe.
Yep.
Any more questions there, buddy?
Yep. We've got Dave Snoop, who asked us rigging barrel lures, line hooks, etc. We cover this comprehensively, but hey, let's not get sick of a good thing, Dave.
Yes, we really do need to actually film that segment. We've been promising for some time, and we definitely will. We will get there. Nigel Arcan wants to know how to get an in-focus sword jump photo. He's quite the photographer, old Nigel, and he's been catching a lot of swordfish, and he's had about 7,000 attempts at getting one jumping with no avail. To no avail, I should say. I've never actually successfully captured one fully crisply in focus, Nigel. I've come quite close a few times. It's quite hard. You got to predict when they're going to jump, and then you got to get that. Make sure that your shutter speed's very high, and you want a good camera with a real rapid fire, so that you can just click, click, click,
Oh yeah,
rapid fire.
like a machine gun camera.
Which my SLR Nikon does not. It's like more like so very easy to miss those jump shots. But yeah, good quality camera, a fast shutter speed, and you got to predict when they're going to jump. But I know you know all that, Nigel, so you'll get some good photos down the track.
Well, you can see when the line's like almost in line with the water. It's like when you see a stingray about to jump, an eagle ray about to jump, like in the middle of November in the middle of Western Port. Like you can see when that bastard's going to jump.
That's right. It is doable. I mean, we've got some good shots there. We've taken a few, so yeah, definitely doable. Any other? Oh, basically the other questions are statements. Here's one for you, Joey.
Oh yeah,
We'll both answer it. Do you have a lucky rod which catches everything while using same rigs, lures as other rods?
I'll tell you what. Not so much these days, but when I was a kid, one of my favorite reels for Western Port and Port Phillip was the Abu Garcia Ambassador 4000. It was a drum reel, and I had that on a Rex Hunt Beastmaster 7-foot overhead boat rod, and that was just absolutely my lucky rod. I took that all over the state, and I even took it to catch coral trout up in Hamilton Island on a family fishing trip when I was 16. But yeah, the Abu Garcia Ambassador 4000 was a red, overhead reel, and I got many, many years of enjoyment out of that reel. It was so cool.
It brings back nostalgia. Back in the day, the old man had the full quiver of Abu Garcia 7000s, the red ones for Western Port fishing, Joe. They were the Rolls Royce of the day.
Oh, they were beautiful, and they came in black as well, and they actually came in a few different sizes as well. They were just, it had the level winder on the screw that went side to side because, like when you're just getting to overhead reels, most people don't know how to cast them, and you just got birds' nests for days and days and days. So when the old Abu Garcia Ambassador 4000 came out with the level winder, it's a pretty big moment for me as a 16-year-old.
Yes, very exciting times, Joe. But anyway, they got phased out with the invention of a quality lever drag reel, TLDs and charter specials and the like. But they were very cool back in the day.
Yeah, Brendan says 7,000. So yeah, sorry, I might have had the 4,000, but I'm sure they came in different sizes.
7,000s is what we had. They were the red ones.
Yep.
Very cool. Simon wants to know why so few boats are running outriggers on the local barrels. Personally, I find little to no difference running outriggers on barrels, and I get better hookups out of the rod riggers, less stuffing around when you hook up, etc., etc. I think we've talked about it before, but each to their own. Some people think they provide an advantage. I haven't really found it to be the case, so that's why I do not.
Yeah, no, we've got a whole bunch of Abu Garcia aficionados in the chat room. So it's not just me. That's good.
That wraps us up for the questions tonight, Joey. Are we going to pick a best comment to win the Fergan hoodie?
There's been some funny wisecracks. We've just been going live for the last hour and 15 minutes.
There's a lot of Brendan Newfish TV and then someone called Brendan Singh commenting, which does kind of seem like it could be a fake name. Let's have a look here. Best comment on the night, Joey.
Does it carry over to next week?
Is there a carryover champ? Oh, here we go.
Oh, no, this guy's got it.
I've remembered this, actually. A recipe to make our pies better.
A recipe to make white sauce for fish pies. And Stephen Kulsar has written in on the live chat for Dave's failed white sauce for his fish pies. To make a sauce for fish pie cream, cheese base with garlic and lemon juice and chili, mix in the parmesan, then water down a little to make it not so rich. Works great with pasta and smoked fish.
There you go. That actually sounds absolutely delicious, and I'm going to give that one a crack next time we got some smoked or any fish, Joey.
Steve Kulsar, send us a message, Instagram, Facebook. We've got a XL Fishing with Fergie hoodie for you to stay nice and warm for the winter time. I love it. It goes to a foodman.
Get in touch, Stephen. If you do not collect the prize pool jackpot next week, Joey will...
Like Powerball, little jackpot to next week. That's right.
Who knows what we'll be giving away at that point? One of Joey's hairs, perhaps?
No, I'm not even going to go there.
All right. Well, I think that's a good way to end, Joey. Reminder, though, that we have the big live show coming up, Berwick, 6th of next month.
Yeah,
Win against Tide and the Deep Drop.
We've got an event on Facebook and we've got a ticket link there also. So you can purchase tickets online, probably easiest by Facebook or trybooking.com.au and just type in Wind Against or Deep Drop and it'll take you straight to the event in Berwick in the southeast on July the 6th. More announcements to come out. We're going to wham as much possible into 2 or 3 hours that we get to hang out with you guys live in person. We would love to see you all there.
Yeah, no, but seriously, we do want to see everyone there. I think it can be freaking awesome. The dream that we have is basically us sitting around chatting with a bunch of mates, drinks, pizza. I kind of want the atmosphere, Joe, to be like after you've had an awesome day on the water, you know, you've caught that dream fish and you come in, you go to the pub or you go back to the accommodation and you're all sitting there cooked, but happy as Larry. And you're just chatting about the day's events, fishing, techniques.
Yeah, I love that. We're building a community of legends. Great networking opportunity for you all. Come and meet the other Wind Against Tiders. There's some pretty serious fishermen that follow this channel, and yeah, definitely come along and chat with some of these other weapon fishermen that are probably going to stumble their way into Poker Face and come and hang out with us. So yeah, great. Would love to see you all.
And Joey will be there and ready to mingle for any ladies who'd like to attend. We could even set up some form of kissing booth.
Oh.
Joe seems thrilled about that idea.
Okay. Yeah. I need all the help I can get right now. So, yeah.
I'm working on it for you, Joey. Don't worry about that.
That's good.
Anyway, let's...
Select me a wife.
I actually am.
Okay.
We'll talk about that after the show.
All right, sounds good.
All right, let's wrap it up. Thanks, everyone, for jumping on the live feed. Really good crew on there tonight, and we will catch you next week. And don't forget to send in your photos and reports from King's birthday fishing weekend. We can't wait to see what everyone gets up to. See you next week.
Yeah, love it. Have a great fishing weekend. See you next time, guys. To the death, Apollo Bay.
I'm just thinking about fish pies.
I really want some gold Kit Kat.
Stop recording. End the live.
I don't know.
Dear
You
God.
press the button. Press it.